Hi there, it's Jen from modernmedicinelady.com and the Empathic Woman System, and the word of the day is futility. So I'm not going to go into specific detail about why I'm choosing this word, but I'll say that I'm in a situation where I'm acting as a go-between right now, and I am dealing with an extremely unreasonable person. And as we go further into the situation, it becomes more and more abundantly clear how absurd the situation is, and also the futility of this entire situation. And what I've come to realize is that as a highly sensitive empathic woman, I am so accustomed to feeling the impact of my own behavior on people that I cannot imagine doing something to deliberately cause harm, because I feel pain when I cause somebody else harm, because I feel that. And so there is a part of me that is utterly baffled by people who deliberately go out and just mess with people and deliberately do things to cause harm and to cause pain. Like, it just does not compute for me. It's sort of like this, what? And what I've noticed is that there's this part of me that is so used to dealing with reasonable people and so used to dealing with, just like things being equal, that I just keep going back to the situation expecting that somehow we're going to find some way to create reconciliation, that we're going to find a way to have some kind of resolution, and that where it's going to suddenly make sense. It's like there's a part of me that feels kind of like one of those rats in an experiment where they learn that if you press down on a bar you're going to get a pellet, and then eventually what happens is they stop getting the pellets, but they keep pressing down on the bar. And so it's like there's this part of me that just keeps going back trying to get the pellet, or this part of me that thinks that if I just, put in the right equation, I'm going to get the right answer back. But I just keep on putting out the query and not really getting the response I'm imagining or expecting. And what it's made me remember is other experiences in my life with unreasonable people. And the conclusion that I've come to a number of times in my life before is that when dealing with somebody who is abusive, who is a predator, who is a perpetrator, who is a manipulator, who is out to basically take advantage of other people, the bottom line is that they will never, ever admit they were wrong. They're not going to own their behavior. And it is crazy making for me to expect that somehow this person is going to suddenly come around and say, oh my God, I was being completely manipulative. You're right, I was wrong. It's like these are people whose entire MO is about putting somebody on the defensive and getting them to feel like they're the ones causing the problem, and putting that person in the position of having to try to make peace or try to acquiesce or resolve the situation for this other person who is essentially manipulating a situation and making extremely unreasonable demands. Where I see the futility in this is that I see futility in a lot of different places. One is that there's futility in trying to do behaviors to get somebody like that to behave in a different way. Another is the futility of expecting or hoping that a person like this is ever going to own their shit, is ever going to take responsibility for what they do, and is ever going to change the story so that they're not putting us on the defensive. And just the general futility of the whole thing, because it's essentially a no-win situation. There's never going to be a win-win. This is a situation where the person who is manipulating is never going to be satisfied if both people come out equal. It's a situation where their investment is being on top and keeping the other person unbalanced and disempowered. So what I'm realizing is that because I don't experience people like this very often, thank you God, when I do, it's always so disorienting to me. It always throws me off balance, but that's partially because the entire MO of people like this is to throw people off balance. And particularly for sensitives like me, and probably like you if you're watching this, people like this basically use this tactic in order to keep us unbalanced so that they can get their way. So what I am just realizing and I am sharing is that, in my opinion, the solution lies in acknowledging the futility of the situation, acknowledging the futility of even trying to make an effort or attempting to reconcile it, and just the futility of ever expecting anything different from somebody like this person, this kind of person, and instead owning it, recognizing it, and saying, you know what, this is what it is, and it's never not going to be this, and I just need to accept that this person's never gonna say, you're right, I was wrong, I'm being a jerk, I totally lied to you, and that's the way it is. They're just going to dig themselves in deeper and deeper and deeper. And the best thing that I can possibly do is walk away from a situation like this and be like, I know what's right, I know what my truth is, and I am not going to expect this person to validate it, because they never ever will. So my question to you is, where in your life are you seeking validation or acknowledgement or resolution for a situation where it's really futile, where it's never, the equation is never ever going to come through, the situation is never going to result in what you want it to be, where it is basically a situation of sheer futility? And if you are in any kind of a situation like this, can you own your power? Can you own and claim, yep, this person is the way they are, this is the way it is, this is what it is, and can you accept it for what it is and walk away from it?